single man's breath catches in his throat as he stands no more than a few meters from a lioness, racked with pain, her hide stretched tight over a swollen belly. Imagine the roar of expanding life fighting its way into the world. And then ask yourself, what would you do if helping meant risking everything? Just minutes later, an astonishing moment would forever change the bond between human and beast, testing the limits of compassion in the wild. In a remote stretch of southern Africa, two lions, a proud male and his equally fierce mate, had lived without human interference for years. By day, they padded through sunlit grass, stalking antelope with silent precision. By night, their roars echoed across the plains like drums, marking territory as they claimed this untamed land for themselves. But life in the African veldt can turn cruel in the blink of an eye. Parched springs, vanishing herds. And unrelenting drought forced them to reconsider their kingdom. With heavy hearts and rumbling stomachs, the pair rose one morning and set off beyond familiar horizons. Hundreds of kilometers lay ahead, a maze of danger and deprivation. Each dawn brought the sting of hunger. Each dusk carried the hush of predators on the prowl. Yet they persevered, he casting vigilant glances over the grasses, she conserving every ounce of strength. Under a silver-washed moon, he stood sentinel as she slept, and before the sun rose again, they moved on. Weeks passed in this relentless march until at last, the scent of water and wildlife guided them to Mikado National Park. Vast plains stretched in every direction, the air ripe with insects and the hum of life. But human footprints were here too. Patrol cars glistened in the sun. Guard posts rose like man-made cliffs, and sturdy fences cut lines through the grass. The lions sniffed and circled, their instincts puzzled. What kind of realm was this? Where metal beasts roamed and invisible walls held secrets. Unseen eyes watched. Sifo, a veteran patrol driver with years of dusty roads etched into his face. And Nomsa, a keen-eyed observer who recorded every animal heartbeat, noticed fresh lion tracks near the central river. From a distance, they tracked the pair's every move, noting the big cat Juan's health, hunting habits, and territorial calls. Night after night, they listened to the male's powerful roars ripple through the air. While the female's restlessness hinted at unease in an unfamiliar land, Nomsa was the first to sense something more. The lioness's gait had grown heavy, her flanks fuller than before. Sifo saw the male circle protectively around her, growling softly at passing antelope. Could she be with cubs? If so, this would be a triumph for conservation, a new life to bolster the dwindling pride. Their hearts lifted at the thought, even as they remained cautious observers. 4 months waned in Mikado's golden sunrises and crimson sunsets. The lioness's belly bulged conspicuously, her steps deliberate and slow. Sifo began stashing medical supplies in his patrol vehicle. Sterile gloves, syringes, and a specially formulated birth aid, just in case nature's course faltered. Nomsa charted every moment of rest, every meal swallowed, and the subtle shifts in the male's vigilance. Talk spread through the park. Everyone wished for a smooth birth. Then came the crisis. The lioness lay panting, contractions racking her body for more than 2 exhausting days. Each restless turn and moan echoing across the veldt sent shivers through both lion and human hearts. The male paced in tight circles, growling low with desperation. Nomsa's pen trembled over her notebook. If this went wrong, mother and cub might both perish. Anesthesia was out of the question. Stranger still, the idea of pacifying the male could provoke chaos. He might lash out, or the frightened lioness could bolt. Instead, Sifo and Nomsa, guided by duty and an urgent sense of empathy, decided to step into the lion's perilous world. With every breath, they braced for danger. That late afternoon, adrenaline buzzed as their patrol car crept forward. The male lion reared, his mane bristling, and thunderous roars rent the air. Nomsa's heart pounded as she readied the syringe. "We have to help her," she whispered to Sifo, who nodded, muscles coiled and eyes locked on the animals. Underneath the roar, the lioness gave a soft whimper, each spasm painting lines of pain across her tawny fur. With the calm of a midnight breeze, Nomsa slid from the vehicle, carrying the life-saving injection. Sifo stood at the ready, a silent shield against potential fury. The male growled, pawing the ground as if daring them to approach. Yet neither human wavered. A tense beat passed, heartbeat to heartbeat, before the lioness's anxious eyes flicked toward Nomsa, as if sensing her pure intent. Nomsa knelt on the warm earth, whispering encouragements in a low, soothing tone. She placed a steady hand on the lioness's side and administered the birth aid. The male edged closer, tail flicking, but made no move to attack. Time seemed to stretch, minutes like hours, while the medicine coursed through the lioness's veins, giving her the strength she sorely needed. Then came the storm of contractions. In a flurry of raw power, the world held its breath. And amid the dust and gold of the grassland, the first cub emerged with a plaintive, feeble cry. Instantly the male nudged forward, tongue lapping at the newborn's damp coat. The lioness, panting and trembling, watched her cub's first breath. A cheer almost rose in Nomsa's chest, until she remembered her role. Gently, she checked the tiny cub's limbs and spine, finding no deformities. One more injection went into the mother to aid her recovery. Silence fell, broken only by the cub's soft chirp and the pair of lions' quiet sounds of relief. The male looked back over his shoulder at the humans, eyes shining, perhaps in gratitude. Sifo and Nomsa backed away, letting the new family claim their moment. As the glow of afternoon faded, the staff packed up. In hushed tones they named the family. The male Coda, symbolizing bravery. The female Leia, embodying hope. And the cub Mosi, heralding a new beginning. Their patrol car rolled off into the distance, leaving 3 silhouettes etched against the windswept sky. By the next morning, the familiar hum of the patrol engine drew Coda and Leia to the crest of a grassy slope, heads turning in quiet recognition. Mosi tottered at his mother's feet, eyes bright with curiosity. No growl greeted the humans, only a calm acceptance that spoke of trust forged in crisis. Nomsa wiped away tears, and Sifo's pen recorded May 5th, 2025, as the day Mosi was born, a landmark in his patrol notes. Season shifted in the park. Mozzie grew swift and strong, learning to pounce on unsuspecting hares under Leia's watchful eye. Coda's roar, once more, echoed across the plains, sealing their claim on this reclaimed kingdom. Park rangers shared the tale around campfires, inspiring a new generation of conservationists, dedicated to miracles like this. When dusk draped the veldt in lavender shadows, Tifo and Nomsa would sometimes pause to look back as their vehicle rolled past the family's domain. Coda would lift his head in a slow salute. Leia would nudge Mozzie gently. The little one would gaze upward as if greeting trusted friends. Each sighting was a reminder. Cooperation between man and wild can overcome even the harshest trials. In Mikado National Park, the story of Coda, Leia, and Mozzie became legend. Proof that hope, courage, and compassion can thread through the raw fabric of nature. And every time the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the grasslands gold, the male lion's roar carried not just a warning, but a promise. That life, when protected, will flourish against all odds. What will tomorrow bring for this remarkable family? The answer waits at dawn.